So today we'll be counting down the top 5 inexpensive drift cars that are, in my opinion, not saying they are in everybody else's eyes, but in my opinion these are the top 5 inexpensive drift cars. They could also use more on a daily basis as well, so here we go. Alright, so the first car I decided to choose was a E30 M3 in that area. They come pretty well, powerhouse from factory with their 4-cylinder. They make about 200 horsepower and 180 foot-pounds of torque. They come with a pretty nice 5-speed gearbox, I believe. They're weighted pretty well. Reliability-wise, not really engine and transmission, just electronics. They're not top. But, you know, they are a pretty good starting drift car, and we'll go ahead and throw a couple videos up for you guys to see and see how well they actually do. Alright, so for the number 4 spot today we have the 4th generation Mustang, 1994 to 2004 when these span. They're pretty much the ugliest Mustangs that they have, but that also makes them inexpensive, as well as they're not the worst cars everybody puts them out to be. They have a bad name and you won't get the most respect driving the vehicle or drifting the vehicle, but with the V8 model you get the nice 5-speed gearbox. It is pretty bulletproof. You also get the 215 horsepower and 200 or so foot-pounds of torque, as well as they're a pretty good, reliable daily driver. So I'll go ahead and throw a couple of videos of those, see how much you guys like that. And then for the number 3 spot, we have the 1st generation RX-8 running from like 2004 to 2006, something like that. It's personally the vehicle that I drive. They don't have the best reliability standpoint, but they are pretty expensive. You can pick them up for like $3 grand. Basically what you got to do with them is you got to do a full look at it, compression test to make sure they run right, and then drive the vehicle hard. That's one thing a lot of people don't do with those cars. They don't drive them at that 9,000 RPM red line, and it tends to build up carbon in the rotor and the rotary housings, and it causes issues that way. So you just got to drive the vehicle hard, turn off the traction control, and I mean, they slide like butter. I know personally, I slide my car pretty much everywhere I go, and they're easy, they're fun, they're pretty quick, and they're just a nice car. So here's a couple of videos of those people sliding around, and yeah. Alright, so for the number 2 spot, we have the NA Miata, the 1st generation, running from like 1990 to 1998 or something like that. I've owned a couple of those in my history as well. I've owned both the 1.6 and the 1.8 liter variations of those motors. I prefer the 1.8 liter, not just for power, but the transmission and the differential is a little bit beefier, and they can hold a little bit better towards modifications. And they're a heavily modified vehicle, as well as parts are inexpensive, vehicles are inexpensive, and they're really good for daily driving actually, especially if you're a high school kid or, you know, a little bit older than that. They're a really good car to start out drifting. Wheelbase, a little bit of a concern. They're a little bit shorter, so it's harder to hold the angle, and they do tend to spin out a little bit quicker than most vehicles, but once you get the hang of it, they are a blast to drive. So let's throw up a couple of videos of some people sliding around in those. And from a number 1 spot, I have everybody's favorite drift car, the NES chassis Nissan, including the S13, the S14. Usually you can get them for relatively inexpensive, but they are most definitely the best drift car, in my opinion. That KA24 they come with stock are actually pretty good, 155 horsepower, about 140 foot-pounds of torque, and they slide really well. They got that perfect weight distribution, and they're known in the community as one of the best drift cars you can get for somebody that's tinkering around. One thing is, though, reliability standpoint, I've heard personally that they're not very good reliability wise. They tend to break at every meet you go to, every event you go to, and I mean, anytime you talk to a 240 owner, they're always talking about what's wrong with their car. But you can't get past the fact that they are good at what they do, and they are known for what they do. So here's a couple of videos that I'm sure everybody's seen of people sliding around in those. I hope you guys liked the video today. A little bit different than what I normally do, so it might be a little rough around the edges. Let's see what we do in editing, but I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit that like button. If you want to see more of my videos, go ahead and click subscribe, and hope you have a great rest of your day.